Welcome back to Dave and Audrey Does Outdoors. First wild camp of the new year 22. So welcome aboard and thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for all the subs, especially all the new people that have joined the channel. Really appreciate everyone's support. We're going to quite a lot of setting up tonight. We've got the Smokey hut tent by one Tigris. Hope you're not moving about too much there in the wind. I've got you on a kind of flimsy tripod. We've got a few new bits of kit tonight. We've got the titanium Pomoly wood stove. We've got the little UCO candle light. I've got a new little LED light for this. So wee bits of Christmas prezi stuff to talk you through. First use of the stove, first cooking on the stove. So stay tuned. We're going to have some really nice, a little bit of beef stroganoff tonight, so a creamy beef job with some white rice, so quite a big cook. We've only got about an hour of light, so I'm going to get the tent up, get some firewood. We did a wee lunch up here, so I actually left a couple of decent bits of wood around, but I've brought a couple of saws. I'm going to crack on, get a pile of wood, because we're going to cozy in tonight in the woods. Beautiful little spot, a few deer about. It's what we're about, I don't know what we are on, about the 8th of January, so it should be freezing overnight, but we're going to hunker down, get nice and cozy in the hot tent. So without further ado, I'll just crack on getting some wood, getting the tent up. I'll bring you back in a wee while. I've been impressed with the size of the Pomoly wood stove, because it actually straps on the front. Now, I've only set it up once, so check out my previous video. I did a little review, set up first burn. So I'm hoping all the bits and pieces, I just need, like any bit of new kit, you need to kind of practice to get used to it. Still not done a review on my rucksack. I'll do that at some point. Put a little comment below if you want me to review the Ether Osprey 70. We've got the one Tigris Smokey hot tent. I found the silver piece that I'd said that I'd mislaid. It was in the other stove that I borrowed from my brother. That just velcros on and it protects the tent from the hot pipe. Let's get this up and then we can start to saw some wood before it's dark. Stove, chuffed, well chuffed, first impression. The hole fits, it's quite snug, but I've had that on really, I've had an old stainless steel stove pipe through that. That's bulletproof, because it's quite tight, it's actually stopping that moving about. I've made the coil so the wind's going to be coming down this way, so, and I might get a wee guy out here, but I don't think it's going to be much difference because it feels sturdy. And then you've got right down into the stove. Chuffed. I'm going to get a wee pile of wood. The sun's kind of sort of setting. I've gathered sort of rough wood. I need to start chopping it into stove-sized logs, but cozy tonight. We're a wee bit cramped in the tent, but I'm getting impatient. I want to get the fire on, so let's spark it up. I've got my gas cooker. I might cook for that in the morning, I'm not sure. I quite fancy putting the stove on again if we've got. I've just kind of packed it quite full with little twigs. It's kicking out a nice bit of heat in here even with the doors open, so it's really pleasant. Well chuffed, by the way. Well chuffed, and little candle holder from Ruby for Christmas as well. 9 hours of candlelight in that. I'd hung it from this, but it was kind of banging off that and making a noise, so there's a little loop on there that is good enough for just now. So I don't even know what time it is, we're just chilling. I'm going to psych myself up to start sort of preparing some food in about half an hour. I've even got my whittling knife, so I was going to try and do some whittling. If I could find a decent bit of pine or something, I'd make a little spoon. So we'll see. I've got all the kind of wood drying out around it, which will help as well. Mushroom growing. Second ring on the go for the rice. Because the wood's quite wet and I'm getting impatient for my tea, so I'll just bang on that. I opened the door because it was getting damp on the inside. It'll dry out with the heat, but it's not freezing cold, and with the stove on, good ventilation for boiling the rice. All I'm going to do is heat out the pot. It's the best way. Oh yes. Really nice, different. It's a new wee light. I'm going to have a coffee. I just wanted to tell you how proud I am of this little guy. Audrey, last week we went up Cairngorm and the weather got quite nasty, and I actually had to apologise to her a couple of times going up the hill. I was like looking down, I was like, listen, sorry about this, you know. She did amazing, she really did. Considering how small she is, she had her coat on and everything, but the weather got foul. I shouldn't have gone up, but you know, I knew where I was going, and I kind of risk assessed it. But she went a good couple of notches up in my admiration levels. You know, before I was like, oh. Now I'm like, she's off the chart. She is off the chart. What do you know? So she's had a nice dinner. I've just fried off a little bit of that extra fat that was left over. So she's going to get that. I'm going to have my coffee, and I've got a wee salted caramel thing. Have that. Have my coffee. Going to get the stove loaded. The wind seems to have died down a little bit, thankfully, because it was going bananas. So. Yeah, some learning, but so far, especially when the wind dies, the heat builds up, so I'm like roasting again. But when the wind's blowing through the tent, it's kind of. But I'm gonna enjoy this. That coffee is like. Oh, that's nice. This is really therapeutic. I'm using a bit of the Mora for the bigger stuff, and then so just picking up a random bit of wood, taking off all the outer bark. I'm going to go around and just shape all the ends and just see what I end up with, because I was thinking it's like a sort of ghost, and because I've got this thing that you can gouge out spoons, like it's a shape, so I'm going to try and gouge, just use all the little tools really, just to sort of, but central heated, fire's on. She's chilling. Oh, this is a totally different experience for me, because normally you're cold or you've got a big fire, and I burnt my jacket the last big fire I had, so I was pretty pissed off at that. But all this wood's drying nicely now. I've got the stove moving, it's just churning. Nice. I've just got my sleeping bag out and I've built a wee kind of just a heat barrier. The next time that I do it, I'm going to have the stove sort of positioned probably pointing towards the door, but I'm going to let that go out. That's my last little bits of wood. It's almost done. She's chilled. Top night, not quite saying good night yet, but really nice. It's so nice, this line here, just like, honestly, how chilled she is. That's us. Tucked up, fire's almost out. And I've closed all the hatches and stuff, so I'm going to stay awake until the fire's out. I've got my little candle to keep me company. She's all tucked up. Good night, nice food, nice and cosy. Bit of like wood, bit of carving, which was cool. I've been looking forward to using my carving stuff for ages, so. Right, hopefully the wind will stay down. We'll get you back in the morning. Night night. Morning folks. It's still quite windy. I'm going to pop the stove on just for a wee hour because I've got some twigs and stuff lying about. Warm the tent up a little bit and get up. It's about 7:30. I don't know if the wind's going to settle down or not, but I'm just going to put the stove on for an hour. Not a bad sleep, it was really windy at times and then it died down, kind of warm enough. So, pop the fire on for a wee while, use up some twigs, get a coffee organised, get set up and stuff, bring it back in a wee while. To wake up in the morning is bang on the central heating. Warm up a little bit to get dressed and stuff. I left quite a big bundle of twigs and dried wood. So I thought I might pop it on for an hour. All the pheasants are kicking about again, and they do quite a lot of pheasant breeding. There's a couple of big kind of sort of fenced off areas around here, so they all get out and they all kind of fly. Not in this bit, but that's quite a difference. All that wood's nice and dry after last night. So I'm going to get a wee coffee on top of that and just chill. Nice way to start. Quite a lot of condensation on these single skins, you can see above there. Probably kind of above where I was kind of breathing, but generally quite a lot of condensation, so you really need to get your sleeping bag right into the middle. Gear wise, cosy in the Rab 1000, the Rab 1100 Ascent sleeping bag. And it was cold last night, it had been about freezing. We're in early January Scotland, so it gets proper cold at night. The Neo Air Thermarest mat, again, had to do a puncture repair a couple of weeks ago, but it's working well again. And the Trichology pillow. And down, I had to open up my shirt, down to my boxers, so nothing thermal, apart from a couple of top layers overnight. And my hat was off roasting initially when I got in, but then about 2 in the morning cold. So generally, yeah, bring an axe the next time so you can split some of the wood. The pipe makes a strange sound, but brilliant. About strong coffee with a kind of nutty, hazelnutty. Right, I'm going to sit, have coffee, have that, start doing some tidying up, but sit and enjoy the fire for a half hour. Most of that wood's nice and dry now, so it burns really well. So because the little wood stove's so light, I managed to pull the pipe out, close that, close the front doors, pulled the pipe out and lifted the fire out. So because it's so light, and I can just either let it burn off or just tip it, because there's like lots of water, just like to tip into that. Right guys, that's us all packed up. Really good first night with the hot tent, and this was my little bit of carving that I did last night. So it's a little sort of person with 2 arms and just a wee bit of kind of texturing down the. That was nice, sitting by the fire doing that. I'll leave that here as a good omen. So thanks again for joining me. That's been really good last night, nice and chilled. A little bit of learning, need to bring an axe. The dry wood's really imperative for that wee stove to be able to cook on. A couple of bits I've left some bits of wood around, positioned off the ground, so hopefully if I come back here there should be pretty dry stuff. So thanks again for tuning in. Remember, give it a wee thumbs up, sub, leave a comment if you've not already, and yeah, from me and from Audrey, we'll catch you on the next adventure. Take care.